The MVP, or otherwise known as the Most Valuable Player award, is the most prestigious accolade a player can achieve. And in some people's eyes, to be one of the best, you have to have won this award. One significant player that hasn't won the MVP award is Chris Paul. But that's actually why I'm making this video, is to make my case on why Chris Paul should be an MVP candidate this season. But before we get into the video today, I'd like to bring something up. Less than 3% of the people who watch the videos are subscribed to the channel. So if you enjoy this video and want to see more like it, make sure to drop a like and leave a sub, as it would really help me reach my goal of 500 subs by the end of the month. And now that we've got that out of the way, I would like to say that Paul got really close to the MVP award in 2008. He finished second in MVP votings, only behind the late great Kobe Bryant. That season, he averaged 22.5 points while dishing out 11 assists and grabbing 5.5 rebounds. And if those stats weren't impressive enough, he also nearly stole the ball 3 times per game. That year, he led the league in assists per game and steals per game. And nothing against the Mamba, but in my personal belief, Chris Paul should have won the award that season. But because Kobe's team had a better regular season record, he ended up winning the award. This proves that team performance does enhance your MVP odds. So keep that in the back of your head, because I'm going to bring it up later in this video. And now I'm going to talk about Chris Paul's current season. Chris Paul is currently averaging 16 points per game, while dishing out nearly 9 assists and grabbing 4.5 rebounds. And everybody knows throughout his career, Chris Paul's always played good defense, and it hasn't changed this season. But I think the most impressive part of Chris Paul's game is his 3.7 assist to turnover ratio. And to throw nearly 4 assists per turnover while averaging 32 minutes per game is absolutely insane. And to add on to that insanity, he has a 22% usage rate this season. But despite how good his stats are, there are dozens of NBA players with better numbers. But the impact of Chris Paul can't be shown through stats. Paul has been a winner his whole career, and that hasn't changed since he's come to Phoenix. The Suns this year currently have a 25-12 record, while at this point last year, they had a 16-21 record. And the one key difference from this team last year to this year is Chris Paul. The Suns last year finished with the 10th seed in the Western Conference, and now this year, they're in the 2nd seed in the Western Conference and have the 2nd best record in the NBA. And like I said, the one major move that the team made was to trade for Chris Paul. And for a single player to change a team that drastically, you would think people would be talking about him in the MVP race. But because of his lackluster stats, people refuse to acknowledge him. But to argue at that point, I'd like to bring up Steve Nash's MVP season. Nash in 2006 only averaged 18 points while dishing out 11 assists and grabbing 3 rebounds, and he was still able to win the MVP award. And people will say the main reason why he won the award was due to his shooting percentages, as he nearly averaged 50-40-90 for the season. But there has to be a double standard, because Chris Paul is only a couple percentage points off of being 50-40-90 for the season. And the second reason that people will bring up is that Nash led the Suns to the 2nd best record in the stacked Western Conference, but Chris Paul has literally done the same thing. And the last thing that I'd like to bring up for the 2006 season is that Kobe Bryant was clearly the better player that year. He nearly doubled Nash in points per game. But because of Nash's team's success, he ended up winning the award. And the narrative is set the same this season for Chris Paul. His stats aren't anywhere near Joel Embiid's, Nikola Jokic's, or Damian Lillard's, but he's led his team to a better record. So if this award has any consistency, Chris Paul will be receiving votes. And if the award stays true to its name, I do think Chris Paul has some really good odds to win it this year, as I think he's one of the most valuable players in the NBA. I think if you put a guy like Damian Lillard on the Suns this season, I don't even think they'd be above 500. Because the reason Chris Paul is so impactful for the Suns is because he's an all-around good player. If you need him to score, he can score. If you need him to play lockdown defense, he can play defense. If you need him to boost his teammates, he can boost his teammates. Anything you can ask of a point guard, Chris Paul can do it at a high level. While some of the MVP candidates this year aren't all-around players. 2 main examples of this are Damian Lillard and Stephen Curry. They are sometimes a liability to their teams because of how much they turn the ball over and because of their poor defense. But because of their scoring percentages, many people will view them higher in the MVP race than Chris Paul, which is really ignorant considering scoring isn't the only asset to the game. But yet Dame and Steph only excel in scoring. Now if you want to argue that Joel Embiid deserves the award more, I won't argue with that, because I do believe he's having a better season than Chris Paul this year, and he's helping his team win basketball games. But despite me not thinking Chris Paul should win the award, doesn't mean I don't think he should be a candidate for it, because a little recognition can go a long way. And to recap this video, I just want to say that I understand that Chris Paul is not the best player in the NBA, and he's far from it. But I do think that he's one of the most valuable players, and that's what the award is based off of. And if you disagree with me, that's okay, because this is all just my opinion, and that's what sports are really about, right? And that's all I have to say for today's video. So let me know who you guys think will win the MVP award this season, and if you agreed with what I said in this video. And once again, if you enjoyed this video and want to see more daily NBA and NFL content, please make sure to drop a like and leave a sub. And if you're interested, a buddy of mine just recently started an NBA channel that he'll be posting on every couple of weeks. If you like NBA content, I'll put a link in the description to his channel. And that's all. So thank you guys for watching, and see you in the next one.